Good morning, good morning. It's great to get up early. Good morning to you. It's the first day of fall. Woohoo! It's 96 degrees here in South Central Texas. So really, it's just another day in summer. No day to swim. Well, I told you we were going to do this yesterday afternoon, but I got busy doing other things outside. So, we're doing it today. Now, I started already. I'm peeling some apples. We're going to make an apple crisp cheesecake slab thing. Okay, it's easier than a cheesecake. It's kind of like a pie, but it's going to be awesome. And you're going to love this. Now, I've got five, I'm going to use that. I got five Red Delicious apples. The reason I'm using Red Delicious is because that's what I had. You can use any kind of apples you want. Granny Smiths, hold together best. People ask about the different kind of apples. Granny Smiths are very tart. Very, very tart. But they're also extremely firm. And they're great for baking. They are phenomenal for baking. That's what you use to make an apple pie. When we make apple pies, when we start making our Thanksgiving pies, you'll see. That's awesome. But right now, I'm using these. Now, if I were using Gala apples, I wouldn't peel them. Gala has a thin skin, and you don't need to peel them. Red Delicious, Granny Smiths, most other apples. Honeycrisp I don't peel. My favorite baking apple, well, for pies is a green Granny Smith. But for stuff like this, normally if I had bought them, my husband bought these. But if I had bought them, I would have bought Galas. Hang on just a second. Hang on just a second. Forgot to let the TV on, forgot to mute it. Alright. So I started peeling some already. I'm just going to finish peeling these up. Notice I'm using a knife. You can use your peeler, your vegetable peeler. If you use a knife, make sure you know what you're doing. Another thing, if you got chickens, apple cores do not go to the chickens. Apple cores and apple seeds are a big no-no. These are going to go in compost. That's why they're being peeled off into a bowl. The apple seeds contain arsenic. That's where arsenic comes from. One of the sources of arsenic. And so therefore, if you feed them to your chickens, you might as well just give them some rat poison because you're just poisoning them, and it's not pretty. Poisoning on any level is not pretty. If you've ever seen anybody that's been poisoned by anything, or an animal or anything, I know this is like watching water boil, but trust me, it's good to do. Yes, they're going on the floor, but you know what? That's why God made brooms. I got the oven preheated to 350. And this has several parts to it, but it's really easy. This is the hardest part right here, is peeling apples. It's what you get your husband and your kids to do for you, if you let them in your kitchen. I don't, as a rule, let mine in the kitchen. Not my husband, anyway. And what I'm doing is, if you're watching me, I'm cutting the core out like that instead of trying to fish it out. Just cut it lying down. And then I've got them cut into quarters, which makes them a lot easier to handle and a lot easier to peel. And also, I can tell approximately how many apples. These are 5 medium-sized apples. That's a good round number. 5 is always a good number. Well, it's an odd number, but 5 is a good number to use on anything like this when you're dealing with apples. Just remember 5 medium-sized apples. If they're the great big apples like that, then no, you don't need 5. 3 will do. I don't know what that would. Alright, we're just about going to call this done so we can get moving on to the fun part. Prep work is always the hardest part. Alright. Almost done. Almost done. See, first you complain because I cheat and do a lot of stuff ahead of time and you don't get to see the whole process. But I know you're bored to tears right now watching me do this. So that's the way that goes. This is a good fall dish. I'm going to be taking this to work with me tomorrow. Every Saturday I bring them something sweet. So to make the day go better, smoother, faster. This is a good crowd dessert. It's cheaper and easier, much easier than a cheesecake. And it doesn't take near as long. As I said, you'll watch how fast we put this together once we get it all peeled off. Of course, we're probably going to all die of old age before I get this done, but that's all right. It's been a good life. Starting next week, well, we're going to do eggs because that's a viewer request. But I'm going to probably start doing more videos on getting ready for Halloween, since that's the next big thing. And really, I don't take a whole lot of stock in Halloween because I'm thinking, here's Halloween. That means I need to start planning my Thanksgiving Day menu. And trust me, I'm already working on it. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. It's like, you know, the holy grail of chefs. You get to just shine and just, it's all about food. It's a day dedicated just to food and naps after food and football. Alright. Alright, let's get rid of that. Well, Lord have mercy. There's another one. Okay, so now we're going to make the filling first. Okay, so let's put the apples right here, and we're going to take some lemon juice, and we're going to just squirt it all over, just a little bit, not a lot. You don't want it to taste like a lemon pie. You want it to taste like apples. But what that does is, the reason apples, bananas, avocados, all foods like that turn brown when the air hits them is the potatoes. The sugars oxidize. The air oxidizes the sugars, and that's what makes them turn brown. They're still good to eat. People throw them away. They're still good. But this will keep our our apples from turning brown before we need them. So, we're going to do our filling first. All right, our cream cheese filling. And we're going to start with 2 boxes of softened cream cheese. If you were here yesterday when we did queso chicken, you probably saw the 2 boxes sitting on top of the coffee maker. That's where I left them all day and all night to get them soft. Remember, when you're baking, room temperature on all your ingredients most of the time. If they're going in something most of the time. There's a few exceptions, like today we're going to use cold butter and not hot butter because we're going to cut butter in. Remember, don't leave any of the good stuff behind. You paid for it, use it. And this is one of those things that you can do however you want. Like if your family loves pecans or walnuts or you got some laying around, throw those in too. You can do whatever you want to with this. Today it's strictly caramel apples. Taste of fall. I mean, come on. Everybody thinks of carameled apples and pumpkins and stuff like that when it gets to be about this time of year. Although in most parts of the country it's actually fall, not an extension of summer. All the good stuff. Don't leave it all behind. All right, so it's 2 packages of cream cheese, softened, and we're going to do 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. All right. And yes, normally this would all be in my mixer, but we're not using my mixer today. And we're going to put a dash of vanilla. Don't use imitation vanilla, use real vanilla. And if you can, use Madagascar vanilla. That's the best. That's the best. Alright. We're just going to mix it till it's all soft and fluffy. Alright. So there. You don't have to have a stand mixer. You can do this by hand. And that's what we just did. Alright, so now we have our filling. We've got our apples that we'll work on next. Let's get our pan ready. Our crust ready. Plain oat, Pillsbury, or, you know, any refrigerated pie crust. Use any refrigerated pie crust. We're going to open it up and spread it out in here. But before we do that, y'all are supposed to remind me, you know. We're going to soft butter. We're going to grease it up. Let it stick. Yeah, I'm using a full pan. You can use your glass 13 by 9 pan. This is just a full cake pan because, like I said, okay, stop. Like I said, I'm taking this to work, so I don't want to have to worry about getting dishes back. Although I have a girl at work, and that's exactly what she does. I finally had to tell her, you don't have to wash. She was washing them and giving them back to me. And I said, you don't have to do that. It cost me 50 cents. You get 2 pans for $1 at the dollar store. So, all right. So we're going to start with 1 piece of crust. Now you can make this even bigger and do a full slab. The reason I'm not doing that is because I don't know how many of you have 15 by 9 inch pans. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this. Oops, it's okay if it tears. It's going to be on the bottom. We're going to get this spread out in the bottom of the pan. A little bit on the sides, but not much. Doesn't come up the sides much. Just a little bit. If it tears, that's okay. Just fix it. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. Tear it off. Patch it. You want just a little bit of a side roll. A little bit of a thick crust on the sides. A little bit. No, it doesn't have to be a whole lot. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can do as much as you can with one, and then grab your other one. You're going to use both of them. You get 2 in a box. You're going to use both boxes. Sometimes it's just easier. Gently roll it out. Don't be in such a hurry like I was. And it's easier if you can get it kind of squared off a little bit. I didn't take the time to do that. I'm kind of rushing. I don't know why. I just am. I'm not like I have to be anywhere. I'm off today. I don't go nowhere. Only thing waiting on me is a bunch of weeds in the garden. You can tell how excited I am to get into that. Little town that I live closest to, I don't live in a town. There's no town where I live. But the town that I live closest to is Lockhart, Texas. And I want to wish the Lions good luck tonight. It's homecoming. Hope all the kids have a safe and fun homecoming. Just be safe. Don't be stupid. You can still party and have fun. Just don't be stupid. Meaning, don't drink and drive. We know you're going to drink. Don't drink and drive. Shouldn't be drinking anyway, but, you know, that's beyond. Be good sports, no matter which way the game goes. Be good sports. Show them class. If we don't make it, which I know we will, but if we, for some reason, don't make it tonight, show your class. You know? Show you got some manners, some class. That's one thing I see missing right now in society. People have no class anymore. They have no manners. They don't care. They're rude. I'm not rude. People think I am. And I've been called abrasive. But I like to consider myself honest and direct. You know where you stand with me. You know what's going on. Alright, so, enough lecturing. Good luck, Lockhart Lions! I should have had my Lockhart shirt on today. I didn't even think about it. Okay, now we're going to take our cream cheese. And we're going to pour it in there. Okay. And then we're going to smooth it out into the pan. See how the crust comes almost to the top? That's perfect. And did I take a ruler out? I'm not Martha Stewart. I'm not that anal. I'm not going to sit here and measure out everything to the last nth degree. And nor does anybody I know. I'm not OCD that way. I'm OCD about some things, but not that. To me, people like to look at it, but to me what's more important is what it tastes like. There we go. Ooh, very good. Very, very good. Alright. Yes, I know. New clean towel. Since I burned up the one yesterday, if y'all were watching it, someone told me that this is one of the funniest shows they've ever seen. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to go back to our apples, because our apples are going to go on top of this. Now, you can do them fancy. And by that, I'll show you, you can just slice them up fancy. I don't have a cutting board, so I have to do it with my hand. Don't do this unless you know what you're doing. You can put them in all kinds of fancy ways, you know, fan them out, make them pretty. But at the end of the day, who cares? You know, we're not going to do that. We're going to just chop them up so they're in bite-sized pieces. Because if you leave them big, then someone takes a bite and they lose all the filling because it's all stuck together. I'm just taking those that you watched me peel. I'm just rough chopping them into big chunks. No, you know, rhyme or reason, just big chunks. Pour that one. That could have been bad. Somebody bite into that. A crisp is a good way. It's easier than a pie, number one, or a cobbler, and it's a great way to use up bad fruit. In fact, that's when they started making them. You know, brown Betty's, apple Betty's, crisp. A Betty and a crisp is about the same thing. Betty is what they make up north, which down here we'd call them a crisp, up there they'll call them a Betty. Anyway, and it's called a brown Betty because the brown the better. Plenty, oh, apple. Alright, get them all You know, it may not be pretty to serve raw on a plate, you know, or in a salad, but this is the best way to use up old fruit is to make a crisp, make a cobbler, make applesauce. You know, applesauce is one of the easiest things in the world to make. If you're buying applesauce, you're buying chemical. I mean, you can make it yourself. There's only 3 ingredients in applesauce. Well, 4. There's apples, a little lemon juice, sugar, and cinnamon. That's it. Put them in a pan, cover them with water, just cover them with water. Put them on low and let them simmer all day. And then mash them up or put them in your food processor after that, and you got applesauce. Cheaper, quicker, better tasting, healthier for your kids. If you're buying applesauce for your kids. All right, so that's good. I just made sure we got all the chunks done, so we do. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put in some flour. I'm going to put in a handful of flour, about that much, about 1/4 cup of flour. And about 1/2 cup or so of sugar. Regular sugar. And some cinnamon. Excuse me. Excuse me. Pardon me. Excuse me. Pardon me. Excuse me. Pardon me. My spice cabinet is behind where I set up the camera, so if I'm not paying attention, you get to see my backside. I'm just looking for something else, but I can't find it. I don't have my darn glasses on. Good Lord, Lynn. There's nutmeg. Where's... I don't see my allspice. I like allspice. Everything that I bake. Well, okay, I guess not today. Alright. And some cinnamon. A couple teaspoons of cinnamon. Because apples and cinnamon go well together. And then we're going to get all this, and what the flour does, the flour, as the juices come out of the apple as it cooks, the flour is going to make like the sauce, the gravy that it's in. Now we're going to gently lay these on top till you cover up all of it. You don't want them to soak down into it. You want them to stay on top. This is a layered thing. So, alright? So keep it layered up. And make sure you get all the stuff on the bottom. All that stuff. See, it's already turning into sugars. So you want to make sure you got it pretty well evenly spaced. Not all on top of everything. Okay, so now, one more thing and then it goes in the oven. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make the topping. Going to make the crumb topping that goes on top of it, the crust. Now you can do this my way or you can do the easy way. I'm getting cold butter. I need a cold butter. Alright, you can do this my way or you can do this the easy way. The easy way would be to take a bowl or take your food processor or your homemade food processor, hammer, Ziploc baggie, and put some oatmeal cookies in it and mash them to death and just crumble oatmeal cookies all over the top of it. Or you could use granola all over the top of it. But I like doing it this way because then I can control exactly what's in it. Alright, so this is just plain old oatmeal. And we're going to do about about 2 cups of oatmeal. Alright. And to that we're going to add brown sugar. And remember, brown sugars have to be packed. Do you know why sugar is brown? How many of you know the reason why sugar is brown? This is just plain old sugar that's been mixed with molasses. That's what makes it brown. So if you're ever baking something and you don't have any brown sugar, go grab your sugar and a little molasses, stir it together, you got brown sugar. All right, so that's a half a cup there. We're going to start with that. You can always add to, you can never take away. So we're going to just do that right now. Now I'm going to do a half a stick of cold butter. And the reason we want it cold is because we want it to set. And I'm going to show you 2 ways. Let's get rid of some stuff. We've got way too much stuff going on here. Let's move the sugars out of the way. We're done with both the sugars. Let's move those out of the way. All right. I think we need, yeah, we're going to put a little bit of flour in that too. A little bit. Not much. Just a sprinkling of flour. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mix all this together. Mix all this together. When you're cutting in cold butter, like making pie crust or making a topping, that type of stuff, make sure you don't handle it much at all. Because the heat from your hands will melt it, and then you lose the texture that you're looking for. And in fact, we're going to move up to a bigger bowl. There we go. Too little bowl. Okay. All right, so, and no, this is not a diabetic-friendly recipe, as you can tell. We've got sweetened condensed milk. We've got sugar, regular sugar, and now we've got brown sugar. So, yeah. And then we're going to put caramel on top of that. So, there you go. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start with a half a stick of butter. Cold butter. Really, really cold. And we're going to cut it down into little cubes. And the reason for that is it makes it easier to chop it up later, like we're fixing to do. And when you put them in, kind of spread them around. Now, there's 2 ways to do this. There's the way and I'm going to show you both ways. I do not know how many of you have pastry cutters at home. So I'm going to show you how to do the fork method. You could also do this in a food processor, which would probably be the normal way I would do it now. But this is a pastry cutter. It's very, very, very sharp. And you just start mashing in as fast as you can until you've got it all cut down into little pieces. The butter. Basically what you're trying to do is get the butter to stick to, that's why I warn you about being very, very sharp, because if you're cleaning it out, which you have to do frequently, it's going to cut you. You can cut yourself. Damn it, it's sharp. Okay, so that's how you use a pastry cutter. Alright? If you do not have a pastry cutter, get yourself 2 forks, and you can do the same thing with 2 forks. We were looking for pea-sized chunks of butter that have all the oatmeal stuff attached to it. So, and we're doing this half a stick at a time. We're going to do the other half a stick too, but right now we're doing it just half a stick at a time. All right? Now we're going to add the other half a stick. It doesn't take very long. And then we're going to go to cheater mode, and I'm going to just do it my way, the easy way. Because part of common sense cooking is working smarter, not harder. But I showed you how to do it with a fork, and see what it does is it creates these little balls. We're going to just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it until you get much smaller little balls. But we are going to do it this way. Difficulties. I need some elevator music to play when this happens. Come on. Why aren't you sealing in? it in there. There we go. Nope. Oh, you're not plugged in. That's why. Ah! Where is it? Alright. That's perfect. That's perfect. See, I can stand there. Y'all already had to sit there and watch me chop apples. Do you really want to sit there and watch me cut butter? I didn't think so. This is what we're looking for. See how it's just kind of all connected. So now we're going to take this. We'll spread it all over the top of this. Get it all evenly over the top. If you need to make another batch, make another batch. No such thing as too much topping. Alright, doesn't that look good? Already looks good, doesn't it? Alright. So now, take this. Always put a pan, if you're using like these full pans, always put them on a cookie sheet first. The reason for that is they're flimsy and you don't want to dump it out, particularly in your oven. Okay, we're going to put this in a 375 degree oven for about 45 minutes. And I'm not going to sit here and expect you to wait with me for 45 minutes. So, hang on, go get yourself something to drink, go do a chore, and I'll be back, and we'll be back to finish this up in about a few minutes. Alright, let's just see where we go. I bet we got some loving coming from the oven. And there it is. Isn't it pretty? Woo, it smells so good too. It smells like fall apples, oatmeal, cinnamon. Alright. So what I've done now is I've taken, this is caramel, just plain old caramel. You get, like in produce, you know, you'll get the little thing of, it's a little plastic tray. It's got sliced up apples and little cups of caramel sauce. Well, I saved the caramel sauces for this. You can always just use plain old caramel sauce out of the jar from the ice cream section. And now, what we're going to do is we're going to drizzle it over the top. Because everybody loves carameled apples. Everybody likes carameled apples. And it's a good way to use those up, those little cups up. I'm not going for showcase. I'm going for yum. We don't want to cover it up completely either. So there you go. A caramel apple cheesecake crisp. Tasty and delicious. Y'all want to see what it looks like? I'll show you. Let's see what it looks like. I'm probably doing this too soon because it hadn't had a chance to set up. You're going to need to let it cool down completely and set. But I don't want to take any more of your day up. Because once it cools down and sets, then you put it in the refrigerator overnight. And it'll be awesome tomorrow. It'll be just awesome. So there you have it. You've got the apples. You've got the caramel, the topping, the cream cheese is up underneath there, and a beautiful crust. I hope you like this one. If you did, please hit like, subscribe, and share below. And come back Monday for eggs. The incredible edible egg. Ooh, I hope I don't get sued for that. So, yep, there you go. We're going to do all kinds of different egg things. Think outside the shell. Have a great weekend. See you Monday.